So hello and welcome back to another weekly overview video. Go through the charts again as I usually would. So DXY price has from last week pushed down into the lower areas. We are now waiting for a little bit of a pullback here just to see if price will come back to the 450 for a short trade. I could have had a nice entry on this, but I did miss it because it was quite late, 1 o'clock in the morning would have been our entry, so I was asleep. So let's go from EURUSD back down. So could have had entry from here, which would be nice. Price then pulled up, it didn't create a new high, so I didn't want to enter a trade here, because what price could have done was it pulled back a little bit, but it could have come right back down here. So we've now created a new high, and price is pulling back into this zone. So we can get a stop loss behind the 4-hour 50 and daily 50, which is where I want to be. So if we drop down to the 1 hour, I'll get rid of that. As you can see, price is now testing the 1 hour 50. I'd like to just see it come back a little bit more into this zone, just so then I can get a bit of a tighter stop loss and get that 1 to 4 just before this midway zone. So I'll show you the midway zone. It's not the weekly zone, but it's just a midway zone. So the weekly zone is right up here. But as you can see, we've had double touches here, and then also a touch here. So yeah, we're looking on that, see if we can get that pullback right up through. We are going to be trading through this weekly 50 zone. So you have stop loss to entry before price tries that zone, just in case price comes back. It won't take you out at entry and won't take you out at a loss. So that's EURUSD. I reckon that will come in today in the next couple of hours. So keep your eyes open on that. You can see prices had that nice little long wick there on the 1 hour. So see if price can push down a little bit further before going. It may even pull up a little bit and then come back. AD CAD. Just waiting on this one. This is probably more end of the week jobby. What we're looking for at the minute. This is a big weekly zone. Price has pushed up and then it's looking to reject. We did have a 1 hour head and shoulders here. 1 and 2, and then you see your left head, right shoulder, and then a nice break, and you had a double pullback there. So that would have been a nice trade from there, but it's not. If it was on a 4 hour time frame, it would have been a lot better. On the hour, it's not very strong. Plus, then we've got the weekly zone, 4 hour, weekly 50, 4 hour 50, and daily to trade through. So, going to wait for this bigger structure to play out here. So this will be a 4 hour time frame, head and shoulders. I want to see price drop right below the 4 hour 50. Test the daily 50 and then pull back. So yeah, it could be a little bit of weight on this one and it might not play out, but we will see on that one. And then at least once come to these highs. So something similar to that would be nice. It may probably even be longer, so it's like over here and then this will come down like this. It's probably what it will end up being. But yeah, I like to just keep it nice and neat and bring it over like that. And then I'll just probably look to trade right through the neckline. So I'd enter here. You give like a 30 pip stop, and then you probably run it 1 to 3 right down to there. You could try even more and put stop loss or take 50% profits and run it right down to the bottom here and see if you can get a 1 to 6. But up to however you want to play it. I'll probably just go for a nice little 1 to 3. Thank you very much. And away we go. AUDJPY. Give it a minute to load. We've got daily channel here. Price is broken out and then retested. Was looking for a nice neat head and shoulders here, but never got it. I would have I was going to enter here, but I wanted to be below the 4 hour 50. So if we had a clean break and retest here, would have been a nice entry. But we didn't get that price then bumbled around here, so I weren't sure if price was going to come back up to test the daily 50 and create a double top on this pullback. But then price is now sunken off. Could have had a lovely entry here again, but I missed that entry. So we're now looking to see if we can get a pullback. It is a little bit easier as well because now we're creating another lower low. We know this is definitely going to go down. It's just about catching it at the right time. So if we can get at least 50% fib and come into this zone and here, so I can put a little line in there. We're looking for price to come back to that zone, and that's then where we can then grab an entry. By then 4 hour 50 will be down like here somewhere, so we can then have that behind our stop loss. So lovely little, what's that, a little 1 to 4. It's a 40 pip stop loss, it's just quite big. Still 160 pips on a the TP, so yeah, it's actually not that much smaller of a trade. And there's a DCHF. This is probably going to be looking at the end of the week jobby as well. you can see got this kind of big wedge pattern. So you've got this lower price here and then the weekly zone, and it's squishing it into this end. So at some point it's either going to push up or drop out. So you're just going to be careful to make sure that you've got clear candlestick confirmation on it if price is going to push down or if price is going to push out and break above. So what we're looking at in a minute, we have a 4 hour head and shoulders forming. Price has come back, test the daily here, and now pushing back up. So see if we can get into this zone. If we can get a rejection of this weekly 50, a push and a pullback, again MSB entry would be lovely, and then catch an MSB C from down here. So I'll show you in on here. I'm banging this. So you can see we did have kind of a triple top or head and shoulders in this here on the 1 hour time frame, but obviously not really big enough to do major. But on the 4 hour time frame, you've got 1, 2, and then that will be our third touch of the weekly 50 and create our head and shoulders pattern. Price has just rejected the 4 hour 50, so that's a good sign. Price is going to push up. You could, if you want to, drop down 15 minutes and see if you get a trade from here up, but that's not what I like to do. I like to stay off the big structures. So I'll be looking for this rejection, push down, pull back, and that's where I'll be looking to place a trade with stop loss right above all these sort of zones here. Be targeting to go right through everything, drop out of there, and come right down for a 1 to 5, which is probably the bottom of the flag. Yep, the bottom of the wedge, sorry, is what I'm targeting. EURUSD. We also then have very similar things. We've got a weekly, a daily, sorry, big channel pattern, which is now rejecting the weekly 50. Price did break below, and some of the boys were looking to see if we could get a short trade from here, but I believe the price was going to come back up and still push up to the top. I've seen this before. You get in a short trade like here somewhere, and then it ends up pushing you right up and reversing. So back on the 1 hour time frame. Yeah, still recording. Just like to check we're still recording. Price formed a double bottom here, broke up above, and now it's coming back to create that right shoulder. So I won't be entering here off the right shoulder. There's not anything else here. If there was like a big EMA at the bottom of this, but at the minute we've just got the weekly the weekly zone and the bottom of the channel. So I'm not going to look to place a trade from here. I'm going to wait for the break and retest of the neckline. So quite a simple one. If we can just get price to push above and through the 4 hour 50 and the daily 50, and then retest back to test them, I'll be looking to grab a lovely trade from there. You could probably even get in with a smaller stop loss. It is EURUSD, so it is quite a bit of a mover. But that's a 1 to 7 with a 40 pip stop. But you could easily bring it down to this high here and have like a 1 to 4.5. If you could go there, or you could even, depending where your entry is and where EMAs are, you could even get in with like a tighter stop loss, like a 30 pip stop, and still get yourself a nice like 1 to 5, 1 to 6 to the top of the channel. So that's what I'm after. Put that back. I think that's it. Yeah, that's come on to the auto strategy. And so there, so EURUSD, we are waiting price to just pull back a little bit further and see if we can get a nice entry on a long trade. AD CAD, we're waiting probably end of the week for the head and shoulders to form. AUDJPY, we're waiting for that second pullback. So it's now done. First part of the pullback, now the second pullback into that 50% fib and in that little mini zone, so we can get our stop loss behind the 4 hour 50. There's a DCHF, we're waiting for the head and shoulders to play out. We'll see if that comes, or if price just breaks out, we just wait for a retest and then go long. And then EURUSD, again, we're waiting for another head and shoulders, but I'm not going to enter. You could really get a really nice trade here, I reckon, if something like this. So you get railroad tracks here, you might get that here, but I'm not going to be looking to enter that. I'm going to wait just in case price decides that it wants to just carry on dropping and create a new lower low down here. So I need to see that. We've had an equal high, so price push back up, create an equal high, and then if we can then get this is a lower high, and if we can get a higher high up here, it's going to be perfect for that lower high to push up. So I hope everyone has a good week. Remember, only risk 1%, and we are looking for more capital, less trades. So always think about that. Try not to get in 20 trades a week. You only need 3s and 4s a month to be profitable.